Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, our production of Gore Call, in which we take the time to speak with small cap companies after they put out important news. With us today, happy to have him back, Phil Deschamps, CEO of Chitogenx. That's not a new company, it's a new name. You might know Ortho Regenerative because we've had him on here for a while. The name is now Chitogenx. Stock symbol is CHGX in Canada. In the US, it's still ORTIF, but we expect that to be changed by sometime next week, so keep a lookout for that. If you're a fan of the NFL, I think you're really going to enjoy today's interview, and not because we're not talking about picks and winners or odds or anything like that. We're actually talking about the other side, the darker side, which is, let me go through it. Odell Beckham Jr., LA Rams, Gus Edwards, Baltimore Ravens, Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay Bucks, and the one that hurts the most, Michael Gallup, Dallas Cowboys. What they all have in common are torn ACL injuries that have taken them out. So we know that, you know, all of us know someone who's torn a rotator cuff, meniscus, cartilage. Either it's a favorite athlete or a person. What we all think is that repair is pretty standard because NFL players typically jump right back in. You know, they've got the best care in the world. But the fact of the matter is, believe it or not, guys, ACL failures after surgery are about 30%, right? And that goes right through all other tissue repair with other failure rates as well. So there's a strong need for more effective treatments, and that's where Chitogenx come in, because its proprietary technology platform dramatically improves the success rate of orthopedic and sports medicine surgery. So in layman's terms, it's what we call a wonder delivery platform that delivers biologics, which are drugs made from biological processes, to repair soft tissues in the human body. And they've had great success at trials and animal trials, and now they're going into actual clinical trials. And here to talk about that and a couple other changes, Phil, welcome back, my friend.
Well, thank you very much, George. Go Eagles. So you and I are going to have a good battle throughout the year to see who comes out on top in the division.
So that's the end of the interview right there. Thanks for joining us. Because no Dallas Cowboy fan will sit and listen to a guy talk about the Eagles. I don't care. Goodbye. So, yeah, you know, listen, we're gonna have a reason for a couple, but these injuries, right? The one thing, you and I are both fans, and look, I'm a Cowboys fan. Michael Gallup, amazing receiver, went down like that, torn his ACL. Odell Beckham Jr. in the Super Bowl after scoring a touchdown goes down to torn ACL. For people that are watching, how big? Now we know for NFL players, it's not as big of a problem because they have the best care in the world. But for the layman like you and I, ACL and other tissue repairs, it's a major problem, right? We all think, yeah, standard, get some surgery, you're back up and running, but that's not the case, right, Phil?
Yeah, well, so that's a great point, George. We get lulled in because the biggest exposure that we have, other than family members and people that go through, is through sports, right? And we do see them come back relatively quickly, 8 to 12 months, and they're back on the field and going. But in reality, and what we're studying first is the rotator cuff in your shoulder. There's about 700,000 of those surgeries a year in the US alone. Wow. And the failure rate, believe it or not, is between 30 and 95%. So, you know, more typical around 50%. And the primary reason for that, George, is the fact that when you bring these soft tissues, if you looked at them in a microscope or in a histology, they're white. There's no vascularization. So there's no blood supply to those things. So what happens is you just suture them together, and then the tissues do the best they can to join back again by creating scar tissue. Yeah, and scar tissue is ultimately very fragile and re-tears. And so the manifestation for the regular guys like you and I is your range of motion is, although you might be slightly better, your range of motion is not all back, and potentially can re-tear. So that's the where we come in. Because what we've essentially got in our technology is I call it it's such a cool and elegantly simple thing. You have these tissues that are not vascularized, so no blood supply. And so what we created was a biopolymer that you mix with a substance in your blood called PRP, and all PRP is but 10% of your blood, where the concentration of the platelets, what's called leukocytes and fibrin, that are the repair system of your body. So when you cut yourself and you bleed, it's that repair system that comes in. So by combining the biopolymer and the PRP together and then putting it on the repair. So if you have a shoulder cuff tear, you have a tear, the surgeon repairs the tear through anchors or sutures, and then you simply put 3 milliliters of our Ortho-R Restore technology, and it delivers the PRP to the site, and then it stays resident for up to 6 weeks. So that's what really is the magic
right there working, as opposed to the current status quo just kind of washes over, and you hope you get some kind of stick at the end of the day.
That's exactly right. And it's very typical. If your audience searched today for PRP or platelet rich plasma, they would see a whole bunch of surgeons putting this in. And what the typical course is, well, every week or every 2 weeks you have to get it renewed for it to give its benefit, and that's because it's so liquid and it just doesn't stay on site. So our technology is able to make it sticky, to make it adhesive, and so it stays right on the repair site and delivers the restorative regenerative medicine directly to the repair site.
And you're not just talking your book, because you're the CEO, you're supposed to be the most optimistic, but you are in the regulatory lead for regenerative products right now, right? Because you've already had great success on the animal testing side, and now you're heading into clinical trials, whereas others have been stopped, essentially. I don't know that it's why you've got that lead.
Yeah, it's not my sense is I don't know that they've been stopped. I think that the issue is that regenerative medicine is as an industry. By the way, regenerative medicine, and this is going to be relevant to the audience in a second here, is a $9 billion market today, and it's projected to grow to be 125 billion over the next 7 years. So 23% growth. All the syndicated reports point to that. And so this is a very, very, in fact, probably one of the most dynamic markets around. So there will be more. The big issue, though, is regenerative medicine are things like PRP. Those are called biologics. So PRP, you have stem cells, you have bone marrow, aspirate, all of these kinds of things that are designed to try and regenerate both soft tissue, like we've been talking about, ligaments and rotator cuffs, and also think about things like organs. Organs are all made of tissue, and they're trying to bring these kinds of medicines to the organ. And the same problem is everywhere. How do we keep those stem cells resident to the repair? So imagine if you've had a car accident and you've damaged your liver, and you need to be able to, or you'd like to be able to put a biologic, either PRP or a stem cell to the liver. We can use our platform to do that. So that's essentially the reason that human trials have been so slow to start, is that we're trying to fix that particular issue, and we hope to be part of the solution for the industry and grow along with it as we try to partner with different people in getting our platform to help them achieve the goals that they're trying to reach.
And you've already signed a material transfer agreement with a global strategic medical company. So again, you're not just talking your own book. You're getting noticed by, sounds like, a really big medical company that's very interested in our success.
Yeah, look, yes, we think that, and that's one of the reasons for the change to Chitogenx is the fact that we are 100% committed to our ortho initial proof of concept, and that clinical trial is active, and we'll talk about the progress there. We also noticed that our transport system is really elegant and can be used in other applications, and thus a lot of my activity is going to be once a clinical trial starts, it's mostly the sites and the CRO. So I need to make sure that I continue to add value to our shareholders by finding other ways to monetize our technology, and signing development and licensing deals for our technology with companies that are looking for this kind of a transport system is where I'm going to spend some significant time.
And is that the impetus behind the name change to Chitogenx? Because it seems like you're going beyond ortho, if I can say in layman's terms,
Yep.
and moving to several other applications. So tell us about why you think you've got a real opportunity with those other applications.
Yeah, I've touched on it a little bit. So yes, that's the sort of the business reason that we've tried to broaden this. We've tried to make our company be described more by the biopolymer that we've developed, and so that and its potential application at delivering other regenerative therapy in the context that you just spoke about. But I'm really concerned about my existing shareholders thinking, oh my God, are they losing their focus? No, we're not. In fact, it's so important for the ortho trial to continue on its pace. Because ultimately we're trying to get to a place where we get through phase 1 as fast as possible, and with every finger and toes crossed, I think we can get through the phase 1 in October. So literally 6 weeks from now, we'll be finished. We hope to be finished phase 1, and that's going to be really important to our overall strategy that I just spoke about. Because once you're considered safe, then the conversations with potential partners become more interesting to them, because you're now it's talk about, okay, how do we get this stuff to work, right? How do we mix it with these stem cells, or how do I get it to stop the bleeding from 2 parts of your colon when you've had colon cancer? All of these kinds of potential applications. So I look forward to having these conversations. And you pointed out we've already inked a deal with a company. We've not yet able to release it, but we will soon. And we will be continuing to try and get other companies interested in our transport system for regenerative medicine.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing who the name of that global strategic medical company is. That'll be exciting. But in the meantime, yeah, I want to emphasize that this looking into other applications is not a distraction, because the fact of the matter is the trials are pretty much out of your hands, right?
That's right.
Once they're set up, you're not allowed to even be involved. That's up to the trial centers and the patients, the doctors, to do what they got to do, report the results back. So instead of sitting around, right, Phil, and just waiting, which, by the way, if that was the case, that would still be fine. You still got to make a good company. In the meantime, you're just going to start exploring other applications.
Yeah, that is, and it has everything to do, George, with how dynamic this area is, because as I said, this is a rapidly growing market. Everybody's sort of looking at it and saying, because it's the, if you think of the early 2000s was the year of genetics, because we had the CRISPR technology, so this was going to be genetic medicine was going to be the new thing, and did make huge progress. Then in the 2010s, it was all about the brain, the life of the brain, and that's when we were developing the Helios medical technology stuff, and it was awesome. And the Tonys, it looks like regenerative medicine is going to be really the engine, one of the engines that's going to drive $125 billion market over the next 7 years or so.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. It's going to be $125 billion market. It's just, and that outstanding compounded annual growth, the CAGR rate is just unbelievable at 23%. Last question. I know you've touched on it a little bit. How happy are you with how the trials are going so far? I know you're hoping that you can have phase 1 done by October. Give us you've already had your first patient surgery, right?
We've had several surgeries already, and it's a little bit like once you start a clinical trial, it's like being an expectant father. It's just, especially over the summertime, it's always a little frustrating to vacation schedules sort of get in the way. But now that we're well into football season and past Labor Day, what's really encouraging is everybody sort of back in the saddle, and the amount of surgeries coming through are going to accelerate considerably. Our phase 1 work is only 5 patients, so with the randomization of the trial, it can take us up to 7 patients to do that. and we've got visibility into those patients over the next 5-6 weeks. So that's why I'm reasonably comfortable that we're going to be able to make that by the end of September, early October. And then we submit to FDA, and they commit to get back to us within a couple of weeks. So by October, again, everything, all of our estimates coming true, we're going to be in a place where we're going to be talking to companies with a phase 2 asset, and it's just a different ballgame, where safety is going to be sort of checked off.
And that brings up an important, I said last question, but I think there's a great follow on there, which is you're not necessarily building this company to be, a revenue generator just yet. That's not the goal. The goal is to bring in massive partnerships before the product is officially done with trials and all that, so that you're already almost commercializing with partnerships, rather than everyone having to wait around for revenue to start 3, 4, 5 years from now on your own, right?
Yeah, that's a great point, George. I'm glad you raised that, because essentially this is the issue of medical development, right? And so what is great for shareholders is when other people invest in the development of your organization. And I think that we have a very elegant delivery system, as I've expressed, for regenerative medicine. And by finding partners that would be able to help us with the development and invest time, money, personnel in the development of our technology, that ultimately returns to shareholders, because it's not dilutive to this. So clearly, since we're a relatively early stage organization, it seemed perfectly logical to me that was a really effective way for us to build our organization here in the early days, so we can bring value to our shareholders, rather than having to wait, as you said, 4 or 5 years for revenue to do. It's not in my plans to raise $100 million and to do this. It's about finding 4 or 5 really key partners in different areas of medicine, and we're already starting. So that they can help us develop the value of and prove out the value of our base technology here.
Well, it looks like, Phil, along with the start of NFL season, Labor Day now over, I call it investing season now begins. Everyone's back at the table, and it looks like what I love about hearing is that things are going to be moving along really fast at Chitogenx now.
I hope
so I can't wait to have you back. And while you're looking for other applications, see if you can potentially create one for Philadelphia Eagles fans' tears. See if you can find a solution to that, because there's going to be plenty of customers out of Philadelphia.
All right, well, you're on, George. It's always fun to talk to you. Thank you so much.
But in the meantime, it's going to be great, guys. It's going to be, for everyone who's watching and listening at home, I mean, it's going to be great to see what you guys are going to be able to accomplish in the next 4 months, because it seems like we're really going into an accelerated program, an accelerated phase here, and I can't wait, Phil. Congratulations to you and the team for positioning the company, to get into this position right now, and continued success, my friend.
No, thank you very much. All the best to you.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Phil Deschamps, he's CEO of Chitogenx, trades in Canada, the new stock symbol CHGX. For friends in the US, it is ORTIF right now, ORTIF. But if you're listening to this after September the 8th, in the week of the 15th or so, there's a good chance that stock symbol will have changed. So you're going to have to look for that. So the best way is just to search for Chitogenx and then find the new stock symbol. If you want to do your due diligence, guys, because you're excited about what you hear now, and you love the relation it's got to injuries, NFL, and all that, and how it relates to all of us, but you don't understand the area, because a lot of us don't. Start your due diligence on the Agoracom. We've got it all neatly laid out there for you. And then once you're done, you get that baseline knowledge. Head over to the Chitogenx website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.
All right. All the best.
Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.